time when I was all like,
I'm not gonna read 50 Shades of Grey because it's lame and I don't like it and it's gonna be totally lame because the hype is lame and everything's lame.
well, I read 50 Shades of Grey, as you can see by the title of this video. This is a book review of the said book. Well, I will tell you the reason I decided to actually read this, and it was because I saw quite a few booktubers actually reviewing this, which I thought was interesting because I think it's one of those books that doesn't tend to be, not the kind of book that would tend to be reviewed by booktubers. So I was like, okay, well maybe I should review it. Like actually read it and review it for the sake of saying that I've read and reviewed it, and because I did the same thing with Twilight. I didn't want to read Twilight, but I read Twilight, and it was a sort of just a confirmation of just how awful it is. So that's what I did with this one, and yes, I got it on my iPad. I love my iPad. Let's just get into the whole story of 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, so there is Anastasia Steele. She is a English student. I believe she's just finished like college and she is going to work for a publishing house or something, and so she's in that kind of transition period between college and her work life, and she is this kind of shy, clumsy book nerd, even though she doesn't ever read actually in the story. She's just this very awkward kind of little girl, and she's very immature and she's naive and she's very virginal, and so that completely doesn't remind me of anyone from any popular fiction. Nope, not at all. And then there is a Christian Grey, who is this multi-billionaire dude who is mysterious and dangerous. He's this kind of enigma who's never seen with a woman, and he's probably enters and like fog machines go off and stuff, and there's claps of thunder when he leaves a room and stuff. He's this very mysterious guy who's obviously painfully good looking, of course. He's this kind of freaky guy who is kind of a bit stalkery, and he sets his eyes on girls as kind of prey, and he's a dominant and he likes to control girls. He's kind of creepy. Completely doesn't remind me of anyone in any popular fiction. Nope. No, I've got nothing. Nothing at all. So the story begins with Anastasia doing a favour for a friend and doing an interview for a college magazine. She ends up interviewing Christian Grey, and then they kind of end up in this pseudo relationship, dominance, submissive kind of relationship, and basically that is the plot. There is nothing else. I don't want to get you excited and be like,
oh, well, there's a little story behind 50 Shades of Grey, you know, they maybe make sex scenes, but actually it's a very deep, meaningful novel.
No, there is nothing deep and meaningful about it. Literally, this book is little bits of fluff surrounded by dirty sex acts, and then with little bits of fluff again. Seriously, I don't actually know what the plot was, and it's not because like I didn't read far enough into it. There was nothing else there. It is kind of like she wrote this for National Novel Writing Month, because I have read stuff like this and written stuff like this. It is where you start the day thinking, I'm so going to conquer this 1,667 words that I have to do. Jamie, shut up! Stop texting me! Stop it! Oh my god, Jamie, stop texting me. He's talking about coffee. I want a coffee. So it does feel like she is kind of gotten to the start of the chapter with good intentions of, I'm going to have a plot in this chapter. There is definitely going to be some kind of plot. And then she kind of just goes, oh my god, it's like 11 o'clock. I need to finish this. I'll put in a sex scene. That will fill up this chapter nicely. Oh my god, Jamie, shut up. Also, I just want to say, look at my new phone case. Okay, so the main thing I want to say is this was a Twilight fan fiction, and I think that's super important to point out because it is so blindingly obvious to anyone. Oh my god, I am so popular today. Oh yeah, Christiana. Look at you, looking at you. Okay, so this was a fan fiction published online by the author E.L. James. I can definitely see why she has kept her name out of the spotlight. I personally would not want to be affiliated with this book. It's so annoying because it actually has less plot than Twilight, and I am not going to defend Twilight. It is a bad series and it is a bad book and it is poorly written, but this is like 10 times worse. So much worse because it doesn't even have the plot. It is almost like she was sat down one day reading Twilight and was like,
you know what this needs? This needs less vampires, less werewolves, more sex, lots more sex, and less plot. Yes, too much plot. Can't follow it. Yes, just sex. Yes. And an inner monologue. Everyone loves an inner monologue.
Another thing is the inner monologue is super, super annoying. She has like this inner goddess who's like trampling around in her brain, just like making fun of her and stuff, and it's just bizarre. When I'm doing a review like this, I will make a list of things to point out. So things like plot. I can't even talk about the plot because there wasn't one. There just wasn't one. And like the story structure, there really isn't a beginning, middle and end. It's kind of like the only thing that had a beginning, middle and end were the sex scenes. So I'm going to rate it 1 out of 10, and frankly that's just for the fact that most of the things are spelt right and written in correct sentence form, and the fact she spelt her name right, you know, it's kind of like just well done for turning up. Yeah, I will be doing a discussion video today, tomorrow, next day maybe, but it will be uploaded sometime next week, so like, yeah, sometime next week. And the discussion video will be less about the book and more about the cultural impact it has had. So the whole thing about it being a feminist book and things like that I will address. It is a fan fiction that got lucky, and I just want to say I do actually, well, I don't like fan fiction anymore. I did read and write a lot of fan fiction when I was younger, like when I was 13, and I grew out of it because that's mainly what happens. People do grow out of it. I have nothing against fan fiction. Some of it is really nicely written and it's just lovely. It is actually really good, but this is like a bad fan fiction that got made into a bad book and is now being sold and is outselling Harry Potter and is like of the top 10 of like the book sales of like this century or something. It's insane and it's just, it's not right. I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay, so thank you very much for watching. If you wish to subscribe to my channel, the button is just up here. And if you wish to like this video, the little thumbs up down below, do that. And comment-wise, just comment if you've read 50 Shades of Grey, or if you haven't read it, would you still read it for the sake of saying that you have read it? Because I don't know whether I'm the only person who does that. If I hear like a really bad review of a book like Twilight or 50 Shades, I'm like, I'm going to read it just for the sake of saying, I have read this and this is awful. So I don't know if I'm the only person who does that. Let me know if anybody else does that, because that would be interesting. And I will see you very soon with my discussion video and my weekly roundup tomorrow as per usual. So yes, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you very soon, guys. Bye!